just again, you're hitting the whole picture of 12 centuries or 1,000 centuries, the unbroken
chain. Mm-hmm.
The heart of the clan, the heart of the tradition,
Mm-hmm.
in 3 sentences.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, we're
Oh
good.
yes. Well, first, the most important is to understand we're talking about the shell here. The vehicle I've borrowed. Very useful and very handy. But I'm not only the heir or the ultimate offspring of an ancient prophecy from Hyperborea. I'm something else. I just borrowed that. So let's talk about what's been borrowed about the vehicle. 12,000 years ago, Hyperborea, also known as Greenland, Kalaallit Nunaat, the country of the Kalat in Eskimo, which is not the same as the Eskimo,
Oh, sorry.
was... Start again?
Yeah,
The same thing?
yeah,
Okay.
right, yeah.
Okay, about my origins.
That's right.
So I have to start all over again,
Yeah.
which means we're talking about the origins of the vehicle I've borrowed. This flesh, this shell, that goes way back to a disaster that stays in our unconscious memory. Everybody remembers of Atlantis. Very few remembers of Hyperborea. They can look up in a dictionary then. It's the North Pole, also known as Greenland. For the people living in Greenland, they call it Kalaallit Nunaat, the country of the Kalat, Celt, the pure. When the North Ridge sank, hence Atlantis, all the Gulf Stream that was going to Greenland to keep it green went into Europe. That was the end of the European Ice Age. That was the beginning of our Ice Age. And then we had to split. Some of us from northern Hyperborea went in Siberia and became all the women, priestesses, warriors that stays in our memory as the Amazons, the Sarmatians, the Scythians. Some of us from the west part of Hyperborea went west, and they created all the ancient civilization pre-Columbian in America, like Tiahuanaco, for instance. And actually our language is very close to Nahuatl, Quetzalcoatl. Atl in my language means the breath of the divine. And the one who were on the east, actually the Tunit, which in my language, Celtic language, Tunit means the Venetic people, the people from Gwynedd, went east and they followed the ice for about 2,000 years. The first land free of ice they could find was southern Brittany, Karnak. And that's where my family has been settling for about 8,000 years. Karnak exists also in Egypt. Al-Karnak is the death valley of the pharaoh. And naturally it exists also in Greenland. American air base of Thule for the Eskimo is Karnak, which means the navel, the center of the earth, the most sacred place of the earth. So we just replicated that system. And my family has been the keepers of this lore, of this megalithic civilization that's 8,000 years old, 9,000 years old, 8,700 for the dolmen of Kirmario at Karnak, which means 3,000 years older than Stone Age, for instance. And then the lore, the powers of this ancient Hyperborean civilization passed from mother to daughter and so forth, uninterruptedly for thousands of years. And here I am, the only so-called male, actually more both male and female, androgynous, as the fulfillment of this prophecy that at the end, when a big shift, the major shift, would have to come, there'll be someone to help, some form of a midwife in a new rebirth. Here is the roots of my origin. It's very ancient. It dates way back before the Druids. Nothing to do with the so-called Druids of history. First, Druids never called themselves Druids. That was the way by which people addressed them. Druid means very wise, like Rinpoche in Tibetan, very close. Or as wise as a tree. Dru is the tree, the oak tree. The same root in English, tree, and Dru. We call ourselves at the time Kelde, which means the servants of God.
Let's go back. We're just going to back up a few sentences to
The Druids. Let's start with the Druids.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the Druids, first, they would call themselves Druids. That was the way by which the people we're calling them as a sign of respect. That means honorable, wise person, as wise as an oak tree. Tree, dru, wid, wisdom, the same root in English and in this ancient language. The actual Druids, they call themselves Druids naturally, they call themselves Keldanes. Kele de, the servants of the divine, the servants of God. Also, Kele, the same root as heal, K and H are common, are the healers of God. Not the one who heal from God, the one who heal God, protects God. Kele is a system of love and of shielding in the same time as well as of healing. Here is for my roots. Okay.
Tell me a little bit about you mentioned in your writings, and that's what I'm drawing from, the shamanic training and, I'm going to say, meditative training. Just a little bit, if there's any kind of hint you can give me about some of the training that you went through as a young man.
Well, this is not shamanistic in origin, or there is a major difference. Whereas the shamans, in their totemic aspect, always embody some form of an animal, the ancient Chaldean, the so-called Druids, were having a transference upon trees. Trees. That was the actual totem. That's why I'm forbidden to eat vegetables, for instance. I'm not supposed to eat anything that helps us breathe, like a leaf. Trees and fruits, yes, fruits are the gift of the tree, but not the plants. I have no problem with people eating plants, even leaves, as long as they treat them with equal respect as an Eskimo killing a whale or American Indian killing a buffalo. And then everything is fine. My initiation was more than initiation. It was acroamatic. It is a term that exists in English, means directly from the word of one to the ear of another. Pure oral tradition. And it was mostly ethical. First, to break down any possible trace of ego on me. I'm just a servant. I practice unconditional healing, unconditional love, and unconditional justice. It is also hardening initiation. You have to be extremely hard and not being confused. Also, you have the powers of playing God, but you don't want to interfere with the divine will, which is very hard. So everything is ethical. Ethical about justice, about being fair, about not being pervaded by glory, money, power. You say in American, power is corrupt, absolute power, absolutely corrupt. I got absolute powers 15 years ago in Europe at 12 million worshippers. I was making a lot amount of money. I've never been corrupted. I was living extremely simply. All the money was sent to Africa, save the dying children, to the American Indians, to Israel, where I saved the royal eagle of Israel, the Osnia. When I took care of them, there were only 2 living specimens, and today they are by the thousands above the Negev and the Golan. All that was part of my initiation, this breaking down of any drift of ego, of power, and always to serve with equal justice and humility. But it has been a training uninterrupted from the age of before I was born to 18 years old, twice 9. And that's only at 27 that I was actually a full-fledged heir of my family. But remember, that's the shell speaking, not what decided to take over the shell for other purposes, which come from another dimension and very needed right now. Yeah. Okay, well, I hope I answer some of your questions, which is very difficult.
Yeah, this is great.
Anything.
Let's talk a little bit about your unique skill.
We all have unique skills. Mine are more salient than others. I'm not above others.
No,
I'm not higher others.
No,
I just have skills that unfortunately have become very, very rare at that time period on this planet.
Well, why, again, there's this, nothing happens by chance, this is...
Of course not.
You're here for a time, this is the time, the moment is now. What you bring, what you offer, humanity,
yes,
is it's very strategic.